Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, air and sea. We've got you covered. Overnight, Russian strikes killed 2 people and wounded 12 others, including 4 children, in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region, according to the local governor Ivan Fedorov. Russian forces carried out 567 attacks over the last 24 hours across 16 settlements in the region. At least 9 buildings were damaged in the early morning strikes on the Zaporizhia city district alone, Fedorov wrote on Telegram. Meanwhile, for the second day in a row, Ukrainian drone strikes have targeted Russian railway infrastructure in the Rostov region. According to local residents, at least 7 explosions were heard throughout the night. This was preceded by the distinctive sound of drones flying overhead. According to local media outlet Astra, the explosions occurred at the railway station, where numerous cargo cars were located. In the Russian border town of Bryansk, Ukrainian drones struck an oil terminal, with residents reporting numerous explosions and air defense activity. Now, on the front line, Russian forces pressing their slow advance through eastern Ukraine have captured the village of Sychnievie in the east-central Dnipro region, the Russian Defense Ministry said. Moscow's forces have for months been pushing westward along the sections of the 1,000-kilometer front line, capturing new villages nearly on a daily basis, mainly in the Donetsk region. Now, Ukraine's military says its forces are holding their frontline positions and on Monday issued a pointed denial that its troops were surrounded in Pokrovsk, a logistics hub in the Donetsk region, which has been under heavy attack for months now. The Ukrainian General Staff said its forces continue to contain Russian troops that have been trying to move closer to Pokrovsk, once a city of 60,000 residents, and site of Ukraine's only facility producing coking coal. At the same time, some sources are suggesting that Ukrainian units are surrounded in Pokrovsk, with Kyiv strongly denying these claims. Now, drone warfare involves more than just gathering vital intelligence on and for the battlefield. To gain an edge over your opponent, you need to see more. And when it comes to intelligence, Ukraine is getting far more effective at dominating the skies. Now, the video you're about to see comes from the Clear Sky mission. During the operation, the Ukrainian military successfully deployed interceptor drones to shoot down more than 340 Russian reconnaissance and strike UAVs hovering over Ukrainian cities and military positions. Now, it's hard to say exactly how many lives this saved, but in terms of money, the hit to Russia's military budget was estimated at 50 to 1. Now, that's what you call cost efficiency. When we speak of cost efficiency, this really is a major difference. At the start of the war, you often needed to use very expensive surface-to-air missiles to destroy drones. Now, that was not cost efficient at all, because the drones usually were much cheaper. Now, interceptor drones are a real game changer, because they tend to be fast, nimble, and, most importantly, cost-effective. So you don't really need to use very expensive and sophisticated weapons against something that could easily be downed using less complicated means. Now, after successfully intercepting Russian drones, it is time for payback. In the footage you're about to see, pilots from Ukraine's 63rd Mechanized Brigade unleash a devastating barrage on the advancing Russians. Precision strikes tear through their lines, shattering their momentum and forcing them to retreat. catapults, trebuchets and ballistas. Various types of long-range weapons have been a vital part of military history since the ancient times. Now, fast forward a bit, and the French were the first to develop the 155mm shell in response to the demands of extensive trench warfare during the Great War. Over the course of the conflict, the 155mm became the most widely used round in Allied service, with the US Army later adopting it as its standard heavy field artillery shell. In 2024, Ukrainian forces fired on average between several thousand and over 10,000 shells per day. Despite many claims to the contrary, artillery remains the king and queen of the battlefield to this very day. Now, you might be wondering about those numbers popping up on the screen just a moment ago. A quick explanation then. In Russian parlance, 300 means a soldier that has been injured, and 200, well, it means one that has been eliminated and will not be returning to battle at all. So now, let's move on to our next story. It is no surprise that Russia places little to no value on the lives of its own soldiers. Since the start of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 and up to August 2025, Russian casualties, including both killed and wounded, have crossed the 1 million mark. And the attitude of their commanders speaks for itself. The term meat grinder is well known in Russia. In this statement, a Russian soldier dares to speak his mind. But what will happen to him for doing so? Perhaps he will soon find himself listed as missing in action.
Здравия желаю, разрешите представиться. Гвардии рядовой Степаненко Кирилл Сергеевич. Позывной Петлюра Петля. Вот, собственно, мои боевые товарищи мои. Вот с первого взвода. 3-й штурмовой роты, 38-го МСБР. Половина их взвода, я вам уже писал, за 300-го, половину за 200-го. И вот кто остался, откатились. Сами себе копают яму. Кто-то по каким-то морально-волевым качествам не могут производить это наступление, кто-то по состоянию здоровья. Вот как бы вот такие новости с передовой.
And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.